The illusion of limits. Since the beginning of civilization, human progress has been dictated by belief systems. The greatest barriers we face are not physical, but mental. For centuries, flight was seen as an impossibility. The natural laws of physics dictated that anything heavier than air could never float. Yet Orville and Wilbur Wright challenged this notion, proving that the real battle was not against gravity, but against a conditioned mindset that had shackled human potential. Sarah's awakening. Challenging the impossible. Meet Sarah, a young woman who grew up in a small town where ambition was often met with skepticism. From an early age, she dreamed of becoming an entrepreneur. But her community's collective voice whispered doubts into her ears. Why take risks when you can live comfortably? You'll fail like everyone else who tried. One evening, during a rare visit to the city, Sarah attended a talk by a self-made millionaire. As he shared his journey, how he overcame societal expectations and built a thriving business, something inside her shifted. She realized that the limits she perceived weren't real. They were constructs imposed by others. Determined to break free, Sarah began questioning the beliefs she'd inherited. She started reading books on entrepreneurship, attending workshops, and surrounding herself with people who dared to dream big. Slowly, the invisible chains loosened, and Sarah found the courage to launch her own venture. Reflecting on her transformation years later, Sarah said, "I used to think my dreams were impossible because everyone told me so. But once I stopped listening to their fears and started trusting my vision, everything changed." The weight of social conditioning. From birth, we are programmed by an invisible force, social gravity. It tells us what's possible, what's acceptable, and what's out of reach. Imagine walking into a kindergarten classroom and asking, "Who here can sing?" Every hand would shoot up with excitement. Now fast forward 13 years and ask the same group of high school seniors the same question. Only a handful will respond. What changed? Their ability didn't diminish, their belief in themselves did. This is the same force that tells you, starting a business is too risky. Get a stable job with good benefits. That's just the way life works. The Wright brothers didn't just build a machine that flew, they escaped the gravitational pull of conventional thinking. If you want to build a life of financial freedom and purpose, you have to do the same. David's struggle, fighting against doubt. David, a software engineer, spent years dreaming of starting his own tech company. But every time he mentioned his idea to friends or family, he encountered resistance. His parents urged him to stay in his secure corporate job, warning, "What if it fails? You'll lose everything." At first, David let these voices weigh him down. He convinced himself that stability was safer than risk. But deep down, he felt trapped, unfulfilled by the monotony of his 9-to-5 routine. One day, inspired by stories of entrepreneurs who defied societal norms, David decided to take action. He began working on his startup part-time, testing ideas and building prototypes. Though progress was slow, each small win reinforced his belief in himself. Eventually, David quit his job and launched his company full-time. Reflecting on his journey, he admitted, "Breaking free wasn't easy, but staying grounded in fear would have cost me even more." Society's headwinds. Every aspiring entrepreneur or unconventional thinker will face resistance. These headwinds come in different forms. Friends and family, who mean well. People closest to you might discourage your ambitions, not out of malice, but because they see life through a different lens. They are passengers on a train that only travels in one direction: employment, retirement, and hoping for a comfortable life. The idea of building a plane and taking off into the unknown terrifies them. Lisa's leap, defying expectations. Lisa, a talented artist, faced constant criticism from her family when she announced plans to pursue painting professionally. Art doesn't pay the bills, they argued. Find something practical. For years, Lisa worked a corporate job, suppressing her creative passions. But the dissatisfaction gnawed at her until she finally decided to follow her heart. She saved money, took art classes, and gradually transitioned to freelancing. Today, Lisa runs a successful gallery and teaches workshops worldwide. Looking back, Lisa smiled. Their intentions were good, but their fears almost kept me grounded. I'm glad I chose to fly anyway. The education system. Traditional schooling prepares students for conformity, not creativity. It grooms workers, not visionaries. Most universities won't teach you how to build wealth, only how to manage it for someone else. Mark's rebellion. Rewriting the rules. Mark, a college dropout, initially struggled to find direction after leaving university. While his peers pursued degrees and internships, Mark immersed himself in online courses about coding and entrepreneurship. He taught himself how to build websites and apps, eventually launching a digital marketing agency. Years later, Mark addressed a group of students at his alma mater. "School taught me how to follow rules," he said. "But success comes from breaking them. Don't wait for permission to chase your dreams." Outdated financial advice. You've probably heard the mantra, invest early, save consistently, and in 50 years, you'll retire comfortably. But what if you don't want to wait 50 years? The people who preach this philosophy are often the same ones working jobs they hate, living paycheck to paycheck. Emma's evolution. Rejecting the status quo. Emma, a retail manager, followed traditional financial advice for years, diligently saving a portion of her paycheck each month. But despite her efforts, she felt financially stagnant. Frustrated, she began researching alternative strategies, discovering concepts like passive income streams and scalable businesses. Inspired, Emma launched a side hustle selling handmade jewelry online. Within months, her earnings surpassed her salary. Encouraged by her success, Emma reinvested profits into expanding her brand. Today, she runs a thriving e-commerce store while traveling the world. "I realized waiting decades for retirement wasn't the only option," Emma reflected. "Once I broke free from outdated advice, I created a life I love now, not later." Toxic environments. Your surroundings influence your mindset. Living in a city with high costs and negative energy can act as a storm that keeps you grounded. Some of the most successful people uprooted themselves to environments that fueled their ambition. Alex's adventure. Finding new horizons. Alex, a graphic designer, felt suffocated by the high-pressure environment of New York City. Despite earning a decent income, the relentless pace drained his creativity. Determined to reclaim his passion, Alex relocated to a quieter coastal town. The change transformed him. Surrounded by nature and supportive creatives, Alex rediscovered his love for design. He launched a freelance career, attracting clients globally. Reflecting on his move, Alex said, "Sometimes, escaping toxicity means changing your location and your perspective, turning resistance into fuel. Here's the secret. When you turn your back to the wind, it becomes a tailwind, pushing you forward. The very resistance that tries to hold you back can be converted into momentum." Elon Musk. Harnessing criticism. Elon Musk faced relentless criticism when he started Tesla. The automobile industry mocked the idea of electric cars. Experts said SpaceX would never launch rockets. Instead of giving in to doubt, he used the resistance as fuel, proving every skeptic wrong. J.K. Rowling. Rising above rejection. Before becoming the world's first billionaire author, J.K. Rowling was a single mother on welfare. Publishers rejected Harry Potter multiple times. She could have accepted their judgment, but she turned the rejection into motivation, breaking through the industry's gatekeepers. Rachel's redemption. Turning setbacks into strengths. Rachel, a former teacher, faced numerous rejections when pitching her educational app to investors. Each no stung, but instead of giving up, Rachel doubled down. She refined her product, sought feedback, and rebuilt her pitch. Eventually, she secured funding, launching a platform that revolutionized learning. Reflecting on her journey, Rachel said, "Rejection isn't failure, It's redirection. Use it to sharpen your focus and strengthen your resolve. Building an unstoppable momentum success is about surrounding yourself with the right influences. Upgrade your circle. Align yourself with individuals who challenge, inspire, and support your ambitions. Control your inputs. Replace passive entertainment with books, mentors, and knowledge that fuel your growth. Escape toxicity. If your job or city suppresses your drive, strategize and exit. Trust your vision. If you can see it, you can create it. Others might not understand, but that's because they're still stuck on the ground. Mike's mentorship. Surrounding himself with winners. Mike, a struggling freelancer, realized his circle consisted mostly of naysayers and pessimists. Determined to elevate his mindset, Mike joined networking groups and sought mentors who believed in his potential. Their encouragement reignited his ambition, helping him land lucrative projects. Surround yourself with people who lift you higher, Mike advised. They'll help you soar. The right co-pilot matters. Your relationships can either propel you forward or weigh you down. A partner who doesn't share your vision can be dead weight, while one who believes in your mission can be your greatest asset. Before taking off, ask yourself, is this person a co-pilot or excess baggage? James's journey. Choosing support. Over sabotage, James, an aspiring filmmaker, dated someone who dismissed his dreams. Movies are just movies, she scoffed. Her negativity sapped his confidence. Realizing the relationship hindered his growth, James made the difficult decision to part ways. Months later, James met someone who celebrated his creativity. Together, they collaborated on projects, turning his vision into reality. Choosing the right co-pilot made all the difference, James reflected. The final takeoff, the Wright brothers weren't just inventors. They were rebels against limitation. If they had listened to the doubters, they would have stayed on the ground. Instead, they built something that defied gravity. Now, it's your turn. The greatest breakthrough won't come from the outside world, but from within your own mind. Will you stay grounded in fear, or will you take flight? The choice is yours.